Now please welcome our first player, Sam Walker. And now please welcome onto court, Andrew Baggaley.
Together on one occasion in 2013 for the England team, and the umpire called the players to order. Best of 7 games, first player to win 4 through to the final.
An interesting metric as well on this match done. They haven't played each other so many times internationally, no record of head-to-heads between them. Andrew Baggaley looking to make a statement.
So I've got to just listen to him.
Also won, of course, 3 World Ping Pong Championships, the greatest of all time.
So good start by Sam Walker, the scoring machine on screen, taking just a little bit of time to warm up, but the score is actually 5 points to love. Great start by Sam Walker, and as if on cue there, the scoreboard has come to life. Sam Walker leading by 5 points to 0. Couldn't wish for a better start. Sam has lost in 3 finals. Of course, he's up against 2 great players historically in Paul Drinkle and Liam Pitchford. but he's made 3 finals despite those 2 players being around. But he, unfortunately for Sam, he's lost in all 3. So he'll be looking to correct that this year, take his first men's singles title. He is the #1 seed. The pressure's on him, so to speak, but he started really well, Fraser, in this first game.
Absolutely. I didn't really expect it to be so one-sided, I must say, between these two.
Andrew Baggaley, certainly a fighter. And there's a long way to go, but as we've said, a good start by Sam Walker. Good backhand top spin from Walker. They're very strong. Strong on both wings, good footwork, strong on both wings. He's had some fabulous tournaments representing England. I had the pleasure of watching him in Malaysia 2017, I think it was, when he won crucial games against Germany, Japan, other teams as well. And the England team did incredibly well to win a bronze medal at those World Team Table Tennis Championships. He's now 9-1 in the lead.
Yeah, it seems as though a lot of his success has come in the sort of team events for England. Like you said, 2016 Kuala Lumpur. And at the Copper Box Arena, the World Team Cup, got a bronze there with England and saved England in the last 16 of the Olympic Games team event back in Rio de Janeiro, where he saved match points against Gauzy to send us through against France to meet China in the quarters.
It really throws your dates, doesn't it, when we miss a season because of COVID? And you were quite right, I got the date wrong when he was outstanding in Kuala Lumpur. It was 2016, yeah, it was, you're correct.
It can throw you off, you know.
I added a year on. I forgot about the COVID year.
Yeah.
But anyway, the players are absolutely delighted to be back here. Stephen Baggaley there on the right. That's the brother of Andrew Baggaley. They've been a team for many, many years. Baggaley, of course, has had a great career. 2 gold medals in Manchester at the 2002 Commonwealth Games in the team and in the men's doubles, playing with Gareth Herbert. He then went on to win a bronze in Melbourne in 2006, playing with Andrew Rushton. But it's Sam Walker to serve at the start of the second game. It's really interesting, Fraser. I don't know if you've found that when you've been watching so many games, that you can win a game comfortably and then you just psychologically you just take your foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah.
It can suddenly turn round. But Walker's clearly starting very determined in this second game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in situations before at four. Fire of your opponent sometimes. Wow. What a rally there. I mean, from an entertainment standpoint, you want that flying Walker backhand to land, but incredible work. And yeah, I feel as though Sam Walker definitely plays a lot better mid-distance to the table. He's good in the loop-to-loop exchanges. He's beaten some of the best topspin to topspin sort of players in the world, Yu Hiroshima, Koki Niwa, to name a couple.
3-2.
Good service, followed in behind the serve, Sam Walker there with the backhand on that occasion, but he's equally as aggressive with the forehand. Lovely return of service there by Baggaley. It looks quite straightforward, but to touch the ball back tight over the net is a very difficult skill. You've got to read the spin on the ball, and then you've got to have a soft hand, a good touch, just to delicately return the ball, and that's what Baggaley did on that occasion. 3 points apiece. Walker leads by 1 game to love.
I love that from Baggaley there. The serve was brilliant, so wide and tight. Limited the options there for Walker on the receive, and then Baggaley sort of fades it up the line. Short side of the table, high difficulty shot.
4-0.
Baggaley has to be wary of that Walker Chiquita flick. Walker's got one of the best flicks in the game. So for Baggaley to remove that, he has to serve either tight backspin or sort of wide to the forehand.
5-4.
Ambitious backhand return there from Baggaley with the backhand. But they say fortune favours the brave. He was certainly being brave with that return.
Left. 5-4. Four, 6.
Interesting there how Walker just took the pace off the ball. He brushed up the back, came over slower, but with a lot more topspin on the ball. The ball was fizzing with topspin. And that's an interesting return, Fred. You'll have seen a lot of that where players come across and return with the backhand from the forehand side of the table. More top players are doing that, I'm sure you'd agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, the modern way to receive serve, preferably now. You can get an advantage straight from the receive, which wasn't really a thing until this kind of generation of players. Predominantly the Chinese legend Zhang Jike revolutionising that backhand flick, where you can play it from and what spin you can impart on it.
So that is 5 consecutive points for Walker. He was down 4-3 and he's just upped the ante, the last 5 points. And totally dominated that rally, forced Baggaley away from the table.
Walker's looking very sharp off the bounce with the forehand. He's always been solid in the backhand, and he got a surprise ability to be able to play it far from the table. But the forehand's been really good so far.
4-10.
So
Chipping
4-3
away.
down, Fraser, and he's now 10-4 up.
Mm.
So my maths tells me that is 7 points on the run.
Yeah. Wow.
11-4.
Looking very sharp here, Sam Walker. 2 games to the good.
2-all.
So a very, very impressive performance. We talk about potentially taking your foot off the pedal when you have won the first game so comfortably, but he certainly didn't do that. Although he was 4-3 down and took 7 points, Howard not there. First thing he did was just touch his head, saying, you know, this is mental now. You've got to be mentally tough. You've got to keep applying the pressure. Here we just see a few points, and this is a typical point. Walker staying close to the table, forcing Baggaley away.
Yeah. Baggaley's percentages drop drastically as soon as he goes that far away from the table. Baggaley's got a very compact backhand. You won't see him hitting many huge backhand strokes away from the table. He's got a good backhand counter close and likes to block, switch his opponent around. Sam Walker's anticipated that well.
Time,
And
please.
he's been able to manoeuvre Baggaley from corner to corner, therefore getting him in those passive positions. I think Baggaley is going to want to sort of tighten things up on the serve receive, try and gain advantage a bit earlier on in the point, because as I said before, Walker's flick is such a dangerous weapon.
Level.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting minute in the Baggaley corner there, with brother Stephen passing on his words of advice, and I'm sure it was exactly as you said, Fraser. He's got to try and get into the game. He's got to be, you know, he's got to take a few risks. He's got to get in with his strong topspins. At the moment, it's Sam Walker who's dominating all the rallies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I think in you know, with Sam Walker talking to his coach Howard Knott, that the conversation would have been around the mental sharpness, mental toughness, that you've got to keep the pressure on.
Absolutely.
You can't afford to ease up. This guy's a very, very good player, a very experienced player. He's been on the circuit for a long time. Even in the last few years, 2019 he played in the Czech Open, 2018 Sweden, Austria, Czech, 2019 China, Australia. He's still playing on the international scene, is Baggaley.
Absolutely, and he's still tearing things up in the Polish league, top division. You know, he's beating Jakub Diaz, the slayer of Haramoto, at the World Championships recently. He's still getting a lot of scalps.
Got it. 2-3.
Beating players such as Anton Schalberg.
Clever serve there from Baggaley. Went long and fast into the Walker backhand. Took him a little bit by surprise. Top edge from the Walker backhand. The ball flying off the table. So 3 points apiece. Baggaley has to keep the pressure on. He's got to go for his shots. Again, just a fraction soft on the backhand there. He could have just tried to be potentially a little bit more aggressive. Of course, when you try to be a little bit more aggressive, you make more errors. So it's a real difficult situation. But I just feel on balance, he just needs to try and go a little bit harder. Again, that backhand return from Baggaley, just a fraction soft.
Yeah, it's that fine line between being aggressive and being over-ambitious, isn't it?
Again, that long fast serve to the backhand wasn't quite as fast as the previous one. Walker anticipated it, stepped round and played a very strong forehand topspin return.
If you're serving long to a top 100 in the world level player, you know, you've got to have all the good mechanics, got to be deep on the table, unpredictable. Seen more players, especially more left-handed players now in the top 50 in the world, serving long backspin down the line.
7-4.
No, that was a good long fast service into the body of Baggaley. Tried to get round, ended up playing from a cramped position. Didn't lift the backspin on the ball. 7 points to 4 now, Walker.
Wow. Still managed to manoeuvre the feet there, minor adjustments in the footwork.
Nearly ended up on his on the floor there, didn't he, Fraser, with his, but he managed to recover, as you quite rightly said.
It's important to have a wide base, especially as a taller player as well. Tends to be easy. You don't see so many world champions over history that have been over about 6'2", because obviously if you're shorter, you've already got that lower centre of gravity. You don't have to bend as much.
We should say, of course, Fraser, that Andrew Baggaley's won this title 3 times.
Yeah.
Which is a very, very good achievement. To be this is the biggest tournament on the national calendar, the national championships. You are the champion of England, and Baggaley's won that title 3 times. It's a tremendous performance.
9-5.
But I think here he's just finding it a little bit tough against a very determined Sam Walker, who is playing extremely well.
Absolutely, just been no nonsense on the serve-receive side of things, Sam. But yeah, like you say, Baggaley won 3 times. History maker as well, because he became senior #1 at age 20, which was the youngest at the time for 20 years.
6-10.
For those interested in the statistics, Desmond Douglas is the record holder. He's won this title 11 times.
11-6.
There it is, the 3rd game to Sam Walker, 11 points to 6. And at the moment, I think the crowd will be quite surprised that Walker has actually won quite comfortably, and that's not an insult at all to Andrew Baggaley, who's played well, but it's the very, very high level at which Sam Walker is playing. Howard Knott, the coach there, will be absolutely delighted with Walker's, not just the way he's playing, but his mental application as well. He's mentally tough, he's tactically playing well, and he's playing as well as I've seen him for a long time, Fraser. You've probably seen a little bit more of him than I have at various events around the world.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Really impressed with Sam here. I mean, you always know what you're getting with Baggaley. He's always going to put his heart and sleeve on the table. But yeah, I mean, Sam, serve receives being immaculate. Really, really strong with the flick, and Baggaley's just struggled to get into a rhythm. He's under the cosh straight away on the 3rd ball. You know, and both men are playing free here, and you love to see that as a neutral.
Andrew Baggaley's brother there, Stephen, doing his best to lift his younger brother, but he certainly has a mountain to climb here. 3-0 down. Remember, it's the best of 4 games. Sam Walker now with just 1 game required from the next 4 games. Baggaley has to win 4 on the bounce, which against an in-form Walker, the #1 seed, It's probably more than a mountain to climb, a few mountains to climb.
Is there any opportunity for Sam to be able to take a title? It's here and now. Like you say, been denied by the top two players in recent English history, Paul and Liam.
That serve just drifted over the white line, and that allowed Baggaley to get in with a forehand topspin on the return, which he did ever so well.
1, 2.
The right idea there on the backhand third ball coming over.
It was. It would appear as though Stephen, Andrew Baggaley's brothers, obviously said you've got to go for your shots. You've got to take a few risks at the moment. You know, Sam Walker's dominating the game. The only way to turn that round, a few high risk shots, hope they come off, and then get a few points in front. We've not yet. I think Sam's hasn't been down by more than 1 point. He was 4-3 down in the second, and then he won it game 4.
Just always been there and then been able to enhance the lead. Such firepower there.
It's interesting, isn't it, how Walker then came across. In years gone by, the top players would have played a forehand topspin there, but it's an increasing trend, isn't it? The players now are equally as happy coming in with the backhand as they are with the forehand topspin behind the serve. He actually stepped across to play his backhand topspin there.
Yeah. Obviously, with the backhand, it's more of an efficient stroke. There's not as much recovery time as you're square to the table. You don't have to adjust.
Yeah, and Stephen Baggaley, Andrew Baggaley call a timeout. Each player's allowed 1 timeout in the match. It's a 1 minute break, and clearly here it's for a momentum reason. The momentum at the moment massively with Sam Walker, and again we saw Howard not just touching his head, just saying you've got to stay mentally strong. This is a world-class player you're playing in, Andrew Baggaley, very experienced, had some great results, and he is a 3 times champion, as we've said. So don't take the pressure off. And it's so hard, isn't it, as a player? You know, you played at a reasonable level, I played at international level. When you've won a couple of games comfortably, it's so easy to think, I'm okay now, I've got this under my belt. And then, as soon as you think like that, you take the pressure off a little bit.
It can change in a heartbeat in table tennis. Obviously, it used to be first to 21, but now it's first to 11, even sort of less room for relaxing too much.
And again, that backhand return from the forehand side. That was a short serve to the forehand, and Sam Walker comes across, returns with the backhand. You know, the players are now calling that the banana backhand, because the bat follows the shape of a banana as you play from the forehand side.
Playing around the side of the ball to impart side spin, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think the backhand's been the difference maker here. Forehand-wise, they're not too dissimilar, these two in level. Backhand, Sam comes through it more, Baggaley lifts more, and I wonder if there's a factor of the way he has to play with a sandpaper bat in ping pong. She has to lift the ball more to be able to make it onto the table flatter.
I think the crowd are going to be a little bit disappointed with this semi-final. It was built up to be, you know, potentially a great match, and I don't think that's anything against Andrew Baggaley on screen at the moment. He's just been up against a very determined #1 seed who's played as well as I've seen him play. Excellent work by Sam Walker.
This is the best I think
it's not over yet, but it's 3-0, 3 fairly comfortable games, and an 8-4 lead, 8-5 now. But
different for Baggaley as well, playing 2 youngsters, you know, Felix Thomas and then Gabriel Achimpong in the round of 16 and quarter-final, which he won 4-0 in both, to then play against Walker. But I mean, Walker, credit to him, he's risen to the occasion as well. He played Joe Cope and Louis Price, so both these experienced seniors coming up against young players in the knockouts. It's not easy then to play a player of that different calibre. And it's been Walker who's risen to that occasion a bit better.
Wow, great backhand topspin there from Sam Walker to give him 4 match points, game points and match points. And there it is at the first time of asking. Sam Walker wins the fourth game, 11 points to 6. And I think, Fraser, it's fair to say that was a comprehensive victory for Sam Walker.
Absolutely, yeah. Much more one-sided than I think yourself and the crowd would have expected there. You know, I could have seen a